Hello, good afternoon. Rangers Football Club, one of the most famous in Britain, has announced it's gone into administration following an unsuccessful legal bid by Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs to appoint its own administrators.
Well, the club's chairman has revealed it could face disputed tax bills and penalties of up to £75 million. And Rangers will now have 10 points deducted by the Scottish Premier League.
Well, the news has shocked supporters of the Glasgow club. These fans gave their reaction a short time ago.
Worried sick. It's a big embarrassment to the club. I think Mr Murray and Mr Bain have got a lot to answer for. I was just saying to someone else, it's not just the history of the club. It's the history of families that come here together.
Are you pretty upset?
Gutted for every single Rangers fan. What can you do? It's happened. We need to move on now. 140 years of history. Just start again now. People up and down the country, over the world, will be watching this with a bated breath. People in there have made bad decisions. People there just now, Mr White, but predecessors as well, who done things that probably did not help this club. But we will move on. Move on, that's what we have to do.
It's a very sad day for other fans and the whole of Scottish football, because I think it will be right through the whole of Scottish football if Rangers did do it again.
Well, let's cross live now to our correspondent Gavin Walker, who's outside the Court of Session in Edinburgh, where proceedings unfolded today. And Gavin, just talk us through what happened.
It's been a real to and fro day today. Of course, Rangers announced yesterday that they were intending to go into administration, and today we find out that Her Majesty's Revenue and Custom were attempting to speed that process up, if you like, to wrest control of it and to appoint their own administrator. They filed a petition, the Court of Session behind us, to try to do that. And in it, and while that process went on, they asked Rangers Football Club and the Council for Rangers not to go ahead and appoint their own administrator. Rangers, not only did they say they would not give any reassurances of that, they dropped a bit of a bombshell to say they wanted to appoint an administrator today. Cue a couple of hours of legal argument, broke up a couple of times to consider the points. The two sides talked together, and just before 3 o'clock, 140 years of history for Rangers Football Club came to the climax when a piece of paper was handed over with a petition on it from Rangers to appoint an administrator. They're Duff and Phelps. They are understood to have worked with the Rangers owner Craig White in the past. We heard yesterday of the extent of the work that they have to do, including costs, as you said, around £75 million due to the tax man alone. It's a difficult time for Rangers Football Club. It's a difficult time for their fans, both on and off the pitch. The club really going to be reeling from this. As you say, they face a 10-point deduction in the league, and Rangers fans are just wondering what's happened to this once world preeminent football club, having won 54 National League championships, more than any other club in any other country. This is really a very dark day, and it continues, it seems, to get darker. Good news, of course, if you're a creditor, if you're one of the people that are owed money by Rangers Football Club, but for the vast majority of people associated with the club over its long history, this is a dark day.
Indeed. OK, Gavin Walker for the moment. Thanks very much.
And let's go straight to Ibrox Stadium itself. We can join our correspondent Lorna Gordon, who's there. And Lorna, we were just hearing from some of those really dejected Rangers fans, and some people saying this is really the culmination of years of mismanagement of the club.
Yeah, there's certainly different perspectives on who is to blame for the situation Rangers currently finds itself in. You speak to the fans, some say Craig White has to share a bit of the responsibility, others say it's Sir David Murray, but you do get a sense really when you speak to them about just how devoted those fans are to their club. This really is a big beast of Scottish football, and it has been laid low as the news has started to trickle down that this club has gone into administration. the fans have started to gather outside of Ibrox. You may be able to see just down the street there, just a couple of 100 metres away or so, a small group gathering, perhaps 50 to 100 of them. They are highly emotional, and there are also a small contingent of police down there as well. Touching upon the police, of course, any Rangers game involves an element of policing. Any football game involves an element of policing, and so involves an element of cost, and you get a sense of what administration might mean going forward. In the last hour, Strathclyde police have said that they are seeking an urgent meeting with the administrators to guarantee that their cost of policing future games is guaranteed. Perhaps reading into that, it would of course hint at the possibility that perhaps the police and certainly other creditors may have past costs that they now wonder whether they'll ever be able to recover, because they will be on the list of creditors that the administrators will be seeking to sift through to decide who gets what now this club's gone into administration.
Yeah, and Lorna, for those fans behind you, I guess in the short term there's that news to absorb about the 10-point penalty deduction in the league this season, but in the longer term their club, if it survives, is going to be drastically reduced, isn't it, in size and its financial outlay. It's just going to have to cut its costs dramatically.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There will be a short and a long-term impact on this move this afternoon. The short term is that I think it's probably impossible that Rangers could now get the title this season. They were standing at second behind Celtic, and now they've had another 10 points deducted from their total. So in the short term, I think the title is now out of reach. In the long term, the administrators will be looking very closely at the costs around this club. There is still this disputed tax bill of between 50 and perhaps up to 75 million pounds, we're told. That's in front of a tax tribunal at the moment. But Craig White has also said that this club is spending more by about 10 million pounds than it gets in every year. He has said, certainly he said yesterday, that he wants administration to result in a leaner, fitter club, but the administrators in the meantime will be cutting costs. They'll be looking at the people who work here. They'll be deciding if any of those jobs can go. So that'll be a very worrying time for all the people employed by Rangers. They'll be looking at the players, looking at whether they need to hold on to the most high-profile, most successful players in order to keep Rangers as a successful going concern, whether they release the ones they can make money out of. So yeah, very worrying times. You may talk about a leaner, fitter club, but I think it's certainly going to be much diminished.
Yeah, and Lorna, let me just read you, we've just had a statement in actually from the former Rangers owner, Sir David Murray, who says he's hugely disappointed at the club's decision to appoint administrators, and he has said he's expressed surprise at the timing of the decision. So that's just in from Sir David Murray. What do you make of that?
Well, the rumours have been swirling for months about the financial state of affairs here at Ibrox and at this Glasgow club. I think certainly the timing of this notice to seek administration that was placed in the Court of Session in Edinburgh yesterday took many people by surprise. It's happened very suddenly. Craig White said he wanted to give the club a 10-day window to renegotiate deals with its creditors, although he said that it was all but a slim chance that it wouldn't go into administration. HMRC, the tax authorities, decided today they wanted to try and seize back initiative and force the issue, really try and put in place their own administrators. They have failed with that, but I think they were also trying to send out a very strong message, not just to Rangers but to clubs throughout the country, that they don't want to be messed with. But Sir David Murray, obviously as a previous owner of this iconic club, fanatical, a very strong Rangers fan, a very devoted Rangers fan, he'll be very upset at what's happened today, as will all those fans who are now starting to gather outside the club.
Yeah, OK, Lorna, huge disappointment and anxiety for Rangers fans everywhere, I guess, not just in Scotland, but their fans around the world. But Lorna Gordon at Ibrox for the moment, thank you very much indeed.
There's been